Did you know that Google personalizes many searches by city and Also Ask is the only tool to access live People Also Ask data at city level? Try for free at alsoasked.com.
Tired of SEO guesswork? Quadra's AI agent goes deeper to uncover high-impact optimizations and completes hours of SEO in minutes. Get started now.
I was going to say that SEO with Fat Joe is as peaceful as this, but then the birds are all having fights.
Hello everyone, good afternoon. It's good to be back on the Brighton stage. I'm really excited to be here. This is my second time, and I'm more excited to talk about a topic that's really important, that doesn't get a lot of spotlight in our industry. And it's this topic, maximizing content efficiency with minimal environmental impact. And I want to also change how we think about SEO success. That is, a lot of us have spent years, trying to optimize for traffic, conversions, visibility, and they're all critical metrics. They're all very good, very important. But more importantly, there's an hidden dimension in our work that we rarely talk about, and that's environmental impact. Now, when I saw this, I was like, "Whoa!" I mean, it's quite a while now. I wonder what it is now, and I was a bit shocked. I was like, "Okay, so that means the content that we're designing, that we're optimizing for, doesn't get seen." 90% it's a large number, and it's quite funny because this is not just a marketing mishap, so to say. It's an environmental issue. It's a digital sustainability issue that we must address, and that's why I'm here today. Now, interestingly, this stopped me in my tracks. I was like, okay, interesting. Okay, so with a show of hands, if you drove here, can I see your hands up, please? Ooh, brilliant. Okay, well done. I'm not shading you guys, but if you took the train, maybe from Germany, from wherever you are, from France, wherever, from, London, can I see your hands up? Oh, I'm giving you guys a digital org because that is great. And why this is great is because the ICT sector, the internet, which we're a part of, now, contributes to about 4% of global emissions. And this is on par with the aviation industry, just like what Becky said earlier. And it is quite alarming, to be honest. And the aviation industry has play two periods where, people are flying, weather issues and whatnot. But the internet doesn't have any play two period. We're always on the internet. It's literally the fastest growing, source of carbon emissions. And that is crazy. You might be thinking, what is carbon emissions? What are digital carbon emissions? Carbon emissions, to simplify it, are like, when you move a car, when you eat at home, when you use energy, and the energy comes from fossil fuels, that is releasing CO2 into the environment, and that is really bad. And when you talk about digital carbon emissions, those are the things that, we use in our phone, internet, we're searching, stuff like that, that we do online, hosting on the server somewhere that is not using renewable energy, that releases CO2 to the environment. And the environmental cost of our digital activities is real and is growing, and it's not visible. You can't see it. The other pollutions and stuff, you see them, you hear about them, but this one is often overlooked in our sector. And honestly, we need to talk about it, and that's why I'm happy to talk about this today. So now, site speed isn't just about user experience, which is great, but it's also an environmental responsibility, because slow websites, what slow website does? Slow websites, uses a lot of energy, and the energy it's using, it's polluting the environment. So slow websites pollute much more than you think. So please, to put this in context here, let's talk about how performance optimization and sustainability is crucial as we develop our sustainable SEO strategies. That is, you're optimizing your website, not just for efficiency, but you're also optimizing for sustainability. Now, to put it in perspective, if a website loads in 5 seconds instead of 1 second, I'm Martin, kind of mentioned all this rendering stuff, which is quite alarming, to be fair. it emits 3 times more CO2 per visit. And you might think about it, okay, what does that mean? The multiplying effect is staggering, because if your website has a lot of eye traffic, just think about it, just calculate it. That is a lot. It is bad. And every internet search produces 0.2 grams of CO2. And when you think about 0.2 grams of CO2, like, okay, what does that mean? It's like moving from here to there. It's not a lot, you know? But when you think about the effect of all of us in the room, or the effect of everyone on Earth, it's a lot. I think as of today, Google, a lot of people search. I think about 13.7 billion searches are performed daily on the internet. So think about that. That is millions of kilograms of CO2 emissions, just polluting. I remember we can't see them. So because we're SEO professionals, we're digital marketing professionals, let me bring it back home a little bit, talking about the carbon cost of a blog post. What does that mean? So if your web page or the blog post you're hosting on your web page is unoptimized, it means that it's emitting more carbon and it's polluting much more than you know. So think about that for a minute. Is this blog post solving a problem? What is it doing on my page? Do I have any orphan content? Do I have to reduce, do I have to improve or reduce this blog post? Because if you have thousands of pages on your website, remember what we said in the beginning, a lot of pages don't get traffic, they don't get seen. What is it doing? It's affecting the environment, so you need to think about these things. Now, what is SEO waste? It's kind of like what I just said now. SEO waste is, replicating duplicated content, your pages, orphan pages, stuff like that. Things that don't really need to be seen. And this has an hidden cost that we don't know about. And it has to be solved. So I saw this stat recently. But before that, I just want us to think of something. Are we optimizing for real impact, or are we just adding to the noise? Because that 500, the 500, I don't know if that's the right word to use, or like the 700 or the 10th comparison page, or you want to compare this and that, you want to upload it on your website, is it really necessary? Have you done something like that before that you could, probably repurpose? So those are the things you have to think about. So I came across this stat recently, and I think I was on LinkedIn, and I was like, okay, this is quite interesting. And I was like, wow. And I'm like, that is out of every 1,000 searches in the EU, about 364 of it gets to the open web. So that is the stuff that you put on your website sometimes doesn't even get seen. And nowadays we have, generative AI, you see snippets. People don't even get to click on your page. So users get what they need from the search results page. Think about that. So this means that efficiency matters at every level of our ecosystem. To put this into context, this is just for educational purposes. It's not a real chart, based on what I said earlier. So when you have an unclicked content, this is the amount of carbon impact, the carbon impact that it produces and affects the environment. And then the value is really small. When you think about the snippet optimized ones, the ones you see on the search result pages, which are not bad, it's on par. Value, carbon, you can argue that. But the more important ones are like the high-performing structured content, the ones that you've efficiently optimized. And how do you efficiently optimize that? I'll get to that later. That delivers more value and less carbon impact. So therefore, creating massive amounts of content that never gets clicked wastes time, energy, and resources. And this are both like human and environmental. So think about that. And I know now you're like, okay, what are you saying? How do we stop this waste? I'm not here to talk about the problem. This is not a problem story. It's an opportunity, right? It's an opportunity for the future of SEO, because what are we here for? I'm here to tell you that the time is now, and some of you have started doing that already, so kudos to you, to start creating more content, but not just more content, efficient and smarter content. Efficiency is the new growth strategy across broad in like most places. And you need to optimize for impact, like I said earlier. And this drives performance, superior performance. How do I say superior performance? Superior performance in terms of business. Because nowadays, businesses are optimizing their sites, their reduce hosting costs. They're translating to green hosting. Sorry, not translating. They're transitioning to green hosting servers. Interesting stuff like that. Now, these companies that are forward-thinking are now embracing sustainable digital practices. They get two things. They get competitive advantage, and they also get customer loyalty, which is great. It's a win-win. Now, this is kind of like the crux of my talk today. Well, not crux, it's kind of like makes everything I'm about, like I'm really saying today. When you think about performance and you think about the planet, it gives you profit. And the profit is not just financial profit. It's profit in terms of like, what you're saving, you're adding to the planet. So let me put it in context. Faster websites, that's it. Reduced server resources, smaller digital footprint. You have competitive differentiation. There are a lot of companies that are doing so well with their, sustainability. Do you have a page on your website that talks about your sustainability ethos? That is very important. If you don't have that page, and I'm saying don't create a lot of content, but that's an important content to create for either your business or your clients, So let me give you like a practical example of a brand that, used performance to drive up efficiency, and it was a win-win for them. Interflora. Interflora is like a global flower delivery network, and they optimize their websites, focusing on media efficiency. And I'm picking media efficiency because I know this talk is about content efficiency, but the goal for me is I want content to be efficient. And we have media. Media is really part of content. So they did this, and what did they do? This contributed to a lot of their sustainability efforts, and they were able to lower their carbon emissions. So how did they do? What the results they got? They got three major results: 85 reduction in media size, faster loading time, 1.8 second LCP loading time, which is great. A very core Google core website vital. I think the base is 2.5 and they got 1.8, so that's incredible. Kudos to them. So I'm just going to breeze through content efficiency pillars. And the first one is create content that serves the real audience needs. So you think about it, this content I'm creating, is it necessary? Has it been created before? Is it on my website somewhere? Do I need to create it? What need is it serving? What value is it delivering to my client, to my user? And when you do that, you create better content, you create efficient content. The next is you make your content fast and lean. We all know that faster websites converts better. Better rankings is good for the environment. It's a win-win situation. And this is the Google Core website I'm talking about, the Core Web Vitals. So now think of your LCP as, you're on the dance floor. It's a race against time, And then think of your IMP as, you're trying to dance. You're trying to dance to the rhythm. Sorry, I can't really dance. There's no music. And then think of the CLS as, you're trying to avoid bumps. You want your dance to be smooth. That's how your content should be, right? So now, faster websites, better user experience, it lowers environmental impact. It's just a win-win. And you know that Google favors websites that, delivers value. So let's not forget that. And then, repurpose, refresh, recycle your content intelligently. I don't need to emphasize on this. A lot of us do know this. I just want to, re-emphasize on it again that it's important. So we use content across multiple platforms. Don't be shy, Archive underperforming pages. Please go back home. Pages that are not doing well, archive them. Accessibility and sustainability, they go hand in hand, If you're creating, for users to, your website to be more accessible for users, you have proper semantic HTML, you have clear hierarchy on your information page, all those very good stuff is great. But you need to continue to do this because it's not just helping user experience, it's also helping sustainability. It's also helping a sustainability goal. So some of you don't know that already. You're already doing good stuff, so I must commend you. Just need to put that now in front of your mind that, okay, I'm optimizing for search engine and also for sustainability. And this brings me into a decision framework. Image optimization, content consolidation actually is the quadrant one, and it's for quick wins. It's an old topic, so I'm not going to dwell on it. The second one is image optimization. I'm going to talk about that further down the line. It's for transformational change, it's high impact, it's very great. PDF optimization, which is very much overlooked, right? a lot of PDFs, page weight lowers the website. Think about it, this information, it might be an HTML format. And then it's the fourth quadrant, it's site web design, low impact, low effort. You can do that in the long run, doesn't really do a lot, but you can think about it and move to, a green website, hosting website server, And then now the good part. I'm going to breeze through this because of time, and so many talks here in this April edition is kind of talking about AI. AI is revolutionizing our industry. It's a tool that, can amplify our worst tendencies or help us become more efficient and more sustainable. I use AI. I call AI my friends. I don't have my phone with me, so I've said my AI friends on my back. But AI is good. And it's reshaping how we create, optimize, and deliver content. But the key word here is we must use it responsibly. And now this brings me to LLMs, large language machine models. They're powerful. But when you think about it in terms of sustainability, it's like a sustainability paradox because it's polluting, right? However, because, you can't really escape it, right? You need to understand that if you generate thousands of low-value pages with AI-efficient tools, you're not just hurting your rankings. It's not about rankings now. You're actually polluting the internet. I've said polluting the internet like a lot of times now. Please, I want that to be one thing you think about before when you leave here. Every of the pages that you create has a carbon cost, to host, to index, to serve. You need to use AI to summarize, rewrite, and structure your content efficiently. And I'm going to show you some AI tools. It's not an endorsement. A lot of you use some of these tools already. Some of them are downstairs. A lot of brands and companies, perfect. Use the ones that are good, read their sustainability message, check if they have, they're being hosted on a renewable energy server, stuff like that. For your content audits and stuff, use them. And now to the main part, your content stack, your tech stack. And this is very important because this is what's going to help you to become better, more sustainable, help your brand to be more better and sustainable. You need to avoid using heavy CMS platforms because they emit higher carbon emissions, especially with images, right? Like I said earlier, image optimization. Image has a lot of page weights. You need to take note of that. And how can you do that? You can use image content delivery networks that provide lightning fast user experiences. An example is imageengine.io. I really like what they said about sustainability on their website. I was like, okay, that's a great example. You can think of other examples. This brings me to my next point, which Martin kind of mentioned earlier. Look about JavaScript here. So avoid bloated JavaScripts. Be mindful of your code because if your page is slow with rendering, higher CPU usage, and that's more electricity for wherever your server is being hosted. So think about your outdated libraries. Remove them, please. The next is quite interesting. Going forward, an efficient SEO mindset focuses on getting more value, and this reduces the resources that you need to maintain all these assets, which is great. So now, because we're all analytical professionals, like we like analytics, yeah? This is a quote that I like from Peter Drucker. It's an American philosopher. What gets measured gets managed. So when you do regular assessments, it helps you to make improvements. I remember I've said earlier on, small actions matter. So measure your page weight, your server response time, all your carbon emissions page per view, all the stuff, good stuff, measure them. And then a toolkit that I recommend, EcoGrader, ScreenFrog, all these tools are really good. There's so much more. These are the ones I just put. Like I said earlier on, make sure that they have certifications that are sustainability typed. It could be a BREEAM certification, if you're trying to go for a green hosted website, stuff like that. So now, Toby, you've been talking, we hear you. Action. The action part is you need to implement a sustainable SEO stack, like I've said earlier, using CDNs for speed. They're very important. So if you don't have an image CDN, please, migrate to that. Static site generators, there are a lot of them now. That particular thing you want people to download and see doesn't need to be downloaded. It could be a static site generator. And then green hosting, very important to minimize carbon efforts. And CDNs are not just like tools for efficient content delivery. They play a crucial role in reducing our energy consumption and carbon emissions in the digital world. And by reducing the sizes of the images and videos are quite important. It helps to maintain less energy because these things, they transfer data. The data is going from one place to another, and to go from one place to another, just like our body, it needs energy. So when it's optimized, reduce energy. Now, the technical foundation of your digital presence, our digital presence, influence our environmental impact is very important. And an example of this is Netflix. Netflix uses a CDN that is, that does this. And one good thing about them is they're using AWS. And AWS has said they aim for 100% renewable energy this year. So we're going to find out by the end of the year if they met that goal. Hopefully they do. And to optimize your data delivery, look beyond your content infrastructure, your CDNs, your strategic server locations, where is the server located, things like that are very important because, like I said, the distance and the oops that your content takes to travel are very important in terms of reducing latency and also carbon emissions. So they're very important. And now to the good part, my time is almost running out. I've said good part a lot of times. It just shows you that this is a really good talk. When you're talking to the higher ups, your bosses, even your clients, you need to make them understand that, okay, we want to move to sustainable SEO strategies, but how? You speak to them in cost savings, performance, UX, everything is intertwined. And that's why I like sustainability so much as a topic, and even bringing it up here. It's all aligned with search engine. It's optimization. It's a win-win. And then to crown this all, I just want to re-emphasize that our cloud infrastructure matters. Check if they disclose their transparent energy usage, their renewable sourcing, and their carbon offset programs. Those are very important things where you're trying to, find a server that is good. Some of these examples, again, not an endorsement, Google Cloud, AWS, they're all interesting. So make sure that they are all committed to renewable energy, all committed to achieving net carbon zero by maybe 2040, 2050, whatever timeline they're following. There's scope 1, there's scope 2. You read about that later. There's so much to talk about in terms of sustainability. And then, more importantly, embed green thinking in your teams. One book I would recommend is How Bad Are Bananas by Michael Benally. It's quite good. It talks about carbon emissions and, every action, every of our digital activity or our normal activity, what it does, how it affects the environment. That will make you understand some things. You can recommend this book to your teammates as well. And make sure you probably could even do yearly sustainability training, whatever it is. More importantly, show data to your clients. I spoke about carbon emissions per view the other time. When you're reporting, show your carbon data to clients. Let them realize that, okay, this is quite good. And what does that do? You add to a sustainability scorecard to your KPIs, which are very important. And I have one you can scan if you don't mind scanning it. And if you don't like it, you can always, make it better or download another one or generate another one. But now I'm coming to the end of our talk, our talk. I hope you guys enjoyed it so far. So what happens when we all contribute? That is, when we all, take everything that I've said, when we all do better, we, optimize our performance, we create efficient content, what happens when we contribute? Remember, this is a journey and the small changes matter. I'm not saying go back to your business or your client and say, oh, we need to do this now. No. It's efficiency effort takes time, remember? If we did some of the things I mentioned, let's just imagine if about 1 million websites implemented these changes, 6.2 tons of CO2 will be saved annually. And that means taking about 1.5 million cars off the road. And that means improving user experience for billions of people. So, like I said, we're very much aligned. Sustainability, SEO, optimization, all in the same family. So, after you leave here, I want you to take one of the things I've said or one of the things you know about before, a content efficiency tactic. It could be removing any unnecessary metadata. It could be, bloated pages that are on your website, orphan pages. Remove them, take it out. It could just be transitioning to a green hosting. Do research, do more research and say, okay, which server can I use? Which one is affordable, that has a good energy rating and stuff like that. That'll be good for you to take back. And then create timeless content that remains relevant, that doesn't need a lot of updates. And my key takeaway for everyone here today is stop the content overload. I know it's a bit hard with TikTok and, I consume a lot of content as well, so I'm trying my best. But yeah, let's optimize for efficiency and sustainability. Thank you for listening. I hope you did enjoy what I've said today. You can connect to me on LinkedIn if you want to ask more questions. And my slides will be up on Speaker Deck later on today. So thank you once again, and I hope you have a nice break. See you next year. In October. Bye.
Demand sphere. Limitless visual insights from the SERPs. Unlimited dashboards and users. Easy to use and easy to scale your growth to new levels.
Monthly reporting making you want to shove sharp things up your nose? Try Dragon Metrics, the all-in-one SEO software with mind-blowing reporting tools.